You know, there are places in this world where the land itself seems to be holding its breath, just waiting to tell its stories. Today, we're descending into one of those places, the haunted, misty landscape of Western North Carolina. And our guide is a book that's both a map and a key to its deepest, darkest secrets.
Now, that's not just some poetic opening, right? That's the entire idea behind this book. The authors are telling us that this landscape isn't just a pretty backdrop. No, it's a living, breathing character alive with whispers from the past. They're not just inviting us to go for a hike, they're inviting us to stop and to listen.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Our guides on this strange journey are Russell and Janet Barnett. They're two folklorists who took on a pretty monumental task to map the invisible world that lies just underneath the surface of all those Appalachian trails.
So take a look at the details here. Published way back in 1988, this isn't just a collection of scary stories. It's filed under supernatural nonfiction. I love that. It's a regional folklore anthology meant for anyone from enthusiasts to outdoor adventurers. Really, you should think of it as a field guide to the haunted.
And this right here, this gets to the absolute heart of their mission. See, the problem was that all these incredible oral traditions, these stories of the mountains, they were just fading away, becoming faint echoes. So Russell and Barnett came up with a brilliant solution. They physically anchored these tales to specific GPS-friendly locations you can actually visit. They didn't just write a book, they turned hiking trails into portals to the past.
All right, now for the really good stuff. Let's get into the stories themselves. We're going to explore 5 of the book's most haunting legends. These are the voices that, believe it or not, still echo on the Appalachian wind. This is where the landscape truly begins to speak to us. The first legend is the Phantom Choir of Rowan Mountain. Just imagine it. You're up on that peak, a big storm is rolling in, and the authors are suggesting that the howl of the wind isn't just wind. It's a lament. It's the spectral memory of a choir from some long-forgotten tragedy. And this is their method in a nutshell. It's genius, really. They take a real, physical thing, like a storm, and they link it directly to a cultural memory. Suddenly, the ghost story isn't just something you read in a book. It becomes an experience you can have in a real place, which makes the whole legend feel tangible, immediate, and, let's be honest, terrifyingly real. Next, we've got a genuine, real-life mystery, the Brown Mountain Lights. People have been seeing these things for generations, but instead of trying to debunk them, the book just celebrates the mystery. Are they ghosts? Some natural phenomenon? The authors basically argue that not knowing is the entire point.
And this really gets at the book's whole philosophy. Not everything needs a neat scientific explanation. The authors believe that an unsolved mystery like the Brown Mountain Lights is actually more valuable because it creates a space for wonder and imagination. It preserves a cultural touchstone that a simple answer would just erase.
Okay, so we're shifting gears now from the purely haunting to the sacred. This is the legend of an enchanted lake. This one tale totally transforms Clingman's Dome from just a scenic overlook into a potential sanctuary, a place of real, restorative, even supernatural power. This shows you what folklore really does. It adds these deep, incredible layers of meaning to the land. By preserving stories like these, some of which go way back to indigenous beliefs, the book reveals a whole spiritual dimension to the landscape. It's pointing out these sacred spaces, hidden in plain sight for anyone who knows the story. But of course, it's not all magical healing lakes. There is a much, much darker side. We're talking about tales like that of Spearfinger, a terrifying, liver-eating witch with a literal stone finger. These are the kinds of stories that infuse the landscape with a genuine sense of dread. Suddenly, a buzzing fly isn't just an insect. It could be a warning that she's nearby. The takeaway from all these stories is pretty profound. Once you know them, you can never see the landscape the same way again. A simple hike becomes an act of cultural archaeology. Every rock, every shadow now has a history, a story, and yeah, potentially a ghost. So, after hearing all these stories, what's the big takeaway? Well, the book doesn't just share legends. It actually teaches you a skill. It's a gift for anyone who's willing to learn how to listen to the landscape. And that leads to the obvious question, doesn't it? How can we actually apply this? How do we tune into the frequency of the landscape and hear the stories that are embedded all around us, whether we're in Appalachia or our own backyards? Well, the book gives us a brilliant three-step method. Step 1, research. Before you go explore anywhere, just spend 15 minutes researching local legends. Step 2, listen. When you're there, pause at some cool feature, a weird tree, an old rock, and consciously consider the stories it might hold. And step 3, document. Start a folklore journal. Tell your friends. This is how we keep these oral traditions alive. So, we've experienced the journey. Now it's time to step back and assess the guidebook itself. How does Mountain Ghost Stories actually hold up as a book? Look, it has some clear strengths and weaknesses. Its greatest strength is, without a doubt, that geographical anchoring. It's amazing at connecting folklore to real places. On the flip side, it definitely prioritizes accessible storytelling over deep scholarly research, and sometimes the stories can feel a little disconnected from each other. So, weighing its value as a kind of cultural map against its limitations as a scholarly text, we land on a final score of 7.9 out of 10.
And you can see why in the breakdown. It scores a fantastic 8.5 for practical applicability, because it absolutely delivers on its promise to change how you experience the outdoors. Now, its research quality is a little lower, for sure, but its overall impact potential is a strong 8. This is a book that's designed to be used, not just sit on a library shelf.
Ultimately, this book is just a starting point. The real adventure is the one you take next, using the tools it gives you to unlock the stories that are hidden all around you. If this descent into Appalachian folklore has captured your imagination and you're hungry for more, there are other trails to follow. Ghosts of the Southern Mountains in Appalachia by Nancy Roberts gives you a broader geographical scope. And the Foxfire book series, well, it shares that same vital mission of preserving our disappearing regional heritage.
So what do you do now? Plan that folklore-enriched trip. Go research the legends in your own town. Start your own journal. Share the stories. The world is full of ghosts just waiting for someone to hear them. You just have to learn how to listen.
If you want to continue exploring the amazing stories embedded in our world, make sure to follow and subscribe. We have many more descents planned.